I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about I broke no contact after 30 days, and this is what happened. So obviously there are a lot of different theories about no contact and what to do after a breakup. People have been suggesting that you go no contact for 30 days for a long time now. In my opinion, that information is completely outdated and it's quite frankly ineffective. I would not do no contact for 30 days. What we try and teach you guys to do is respect your ex's decision, leave them alone, allow them to reach out to you when they are ready. That means you have to deal with a lot of uncertainty. And those of you that have attachment issues, it can be terrifying that you think your ex is not coming back. And this is very tied to your relationship with your caregivers. This is why we tell you guys you have to do the work. Why we say do the workbooks or the creative healing course 30 minutes a day. Got to work through those issues because it mirrors what happened in your childhood in so many ways. And I can relate to that, and that's why I do what I do. You know, I've talked openly about my family and my parents splitting up at a year and a half old. That was a major trauma for me. I had a lot of separation anxiety when I would go to my dad's place. A lot of issues came of that, and I talk about that all the time. Because I want you guys to know I've been there. I know what it feels like. I had tremendous amounts of separation anxiety from my mom when I was very small growing up. And there was a lot of contentious stuff going on between my parents, petty, immature stuff that they obviously regretted as they got older and were further away from that divorce. But it traumatized me. And so I know what it's like to be in your shoes and, you know, struggling and suffering with your body just feeling like it's out of control. You can't stop thinking about somebody. You don't eat. You're going to the bathroom all the time. You have night sweats. You're waking up in cold sweats. You're having nightmares. I know because I've been there and I've talked about that since I launched the channel. And the idea of no contact going 30 days in some magical land, this theory sounds great, right? Especially when you're, you know, extremely anxious to think, well, there's an end date to all of this, and after 30 days, it's going to magically get better. But it doesn't work like that. Breakups are a process, and, you know, usually in that 30-day period, your ex is still in that relief stage and feeling like the breakup had to happen. So when you reach out in that time, it really goes poorly. Now, I'm not recommending you reach out because definitely you will have a better chance of turning it around if they reach out to you. I have been doing this a long time, and by far that is where the people find the most success, when they just allow their ex to reach out first. It's tough, but it's the most effective thing, okay? Because you're respecting yourself, you're allowing them to sit with the consequence of their own actions, and you're not making it easy for somebody who just devastated you and broke your heart. You don't want to make it easy for somebody because, quite honestly, it just lowers their attraction level for you. And sometimes they reply to you if you send them a message, depending upon that person, who they are, their character, what you did at the time of the breakup. There's a lot of different factors. Their attachment style themselves, but I don't recommend doing it. So this person in today's email did it. Let's see what happened in their situation. So this is, and I do have some text messages that I'm going to make a little bit more ambiguous, but I just want you to get the general idea of what happens a lot of times. This couple's in their early 20s and they dated around 9 months. They met on a dating site in the summer of 2024. And she had just broken up with someone a few months before they met. And they started talking daily, snapping, and they finally met a few months later. The first date was great. They spent a few hours in the car making out. Funny of that, they had matched on a different dating site, but he says that he was too dry in the conversation, so she stopped replying. Now, months into dating, he brought it up and they laughed. They both admitted that they hoped the other didn't recognize each other since they looked different from their initial pictures, I guess. He says by Christmas time, she had met his family and he met hers. They never set an official date, but they did start to call each other boyfriend and girlfriend. She suggested the middle of December as their anniversary, though he never confirmed it, which caused tension. So that makes me think, like, is he a little reluctant to be committed to somebody? Maybe he's a little avoidant. I mean, they've been dating for 4 months or so. So, a lot of times people will start to talk about exclusivity there, and that's fine. You've known each other a while, but it sounds like he was a little anxious about that. Looking back, I fell short. I didn't compliment her enough. I didn't share much about myself and didn't invest in her interests. Since she's autistic, her interests are tied to her identity, and it hurt that I didn't try harder. My insecurities didn't help. I felt uneasy about her posters, wallpapers, and TikTok comments about celebrity crushes, even though she complimented me often. And she's in her early 20s. That does seem a little bit immature to do. I'm sure she wouldn't have liked it either if you started talking about how beautiful certain actresses are either. So, sometimes you can get a little too insecure about these things, not just you, but people. Because what are the chances of that celebrity being interested in them and, it actually working out? Very, very low, obviously. But it doesn't make you feel good when your partner's constantly doing it. I also bottle up emotions. Physically, we never had intercourse, but I showed more sexual energy than she did. She touched me too, but my energy was stronger. I sometimes grabbed her butt, and when she told me to stop, I did. Okay, some people don't like that. A lot of people don't mind if you slap their butt when you walk by and grab their butt or whatever. But some people don't like that kind of stuff. And so it's like a case-by-case basis. People have different preferences. Still, I ruined that by making a careless comment after she playfully pinched me. Funny how you can do that to me, but I can't do it to you. I could see why you were a little bothered by that. It's kind of like, wait, I can't grab your butt or slap your butt, but you can do that to me? I thought I was joking, but it came off as dismissive, as if I didn't respect her boundary. I regret it. I could see both sides of this, but it's like, okay, why is it okay for her to do it to you and then you not at least be able to joke about it or give her a hard time back? She broke up with me in the middle of August. Since then, I've been improving physically and mentally, and I've gotten into her interests. Okay, this is something that you're like trying to overcompensate. You're trying to do too much. You're like, oh, well, if I get into what she's into, then she'll like me again. That's not how attraction works. If you do that in the relationship a bit, people will appreciate it. But doing it at the time of the breakup, it just kind of reeks of desperation, right? Don't do that. Don't do it. I know what you're trying to do here. It's just that it usually doesn't create attraction. If you do that on your own and you authentically enjoy those things, that's one thing, but don't try to be a pleaser, like in this kind of situation. He says, now I see why she loved them. I think he's talking about a band. I messed up by breaking no contact too soon. I showed up with flowers and a note of 50 things I loved about her, but she didn't answer the door. Ooh. Was she there and didn't answer the door? She could have been. Brutal. I don't know if she lives in a house or an apartment. I would think you would be able to see her car in a lot of situations. All right. Unfortunately, these things only happen in the movies. flowers and 50 things I love about you. In our mind, we have these fantasies of reuniting and reunion fantasies, but what we often have to do with a breakup is the opposite of what we want to do, okay? And that's why it's so tough. Later, she went on a dating site and wrote, "Very recently single." Though she hasn't pursued anything serious, social media has been tough. She unfriended, unfollowed, and hid stories for a while, but we're still on Snapchat. She isn't the type to block. I think her and her ex split up a few months before we met, and I doubt their relationship lasted longer than ours. He kept liking her posts, showing up on earbuds. Does that mean he was close by? That's odd. Anybody in the comments know why he would show up on the earbuds? And commenting after their breakup. I hope my differences work in my favor. Well, the flowers and the 50 things I love about you is not likely going to help. Sometimes I wonder if I should unfollow her on Instagram too. I would just leave it, you know. You kind of want to act like you're not looking or making a big deal about it. Towards the end of September, I broke silence after a month. Let's see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? I apologized, took accountability, and invited her to a concert of one of her favorite artists. She declined politely. Okay, I have these messages. I'm going to go through them. Now, this was the breakup text, okay? Honestly, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I just feel like this relationship isn't working for either of us. I feel like we aren't fulfilling each other's needs, and I need to focus on myself and my mental health. I'm grateful for everything, but I just can't see this work out in the long run. Okay, I paraphrase that just a little bit to make it not so obviously, but he's basically saying, please hold on. Can we please talk about this? Please. Let's talk, please, let's call. Okay, so her response to all of the begging and the pleading is kind of like, this isn't a decision that I made lightly. I've thought about it for a while. I don't regret what we had, but I do want space from the situation. So he basically says, okay, I'm going to give you time and space, but I do really want to talk to you about everything. I can't try and, I'm not going to try and force you, but I would really like it if we had a conversation at some point to talk about this. Now he kind of is like, look, if there's something that you want me to think about or change, please tell me. I've been thinking about the relationship for a few weeks now, and I keep thinking about ways that I can improve and do things better. It's just that it's going to take me time, and it's not overnight. But I want you to know that, you know, I really do want to improve to do things better. So she didn't respond to any of that. And then he messages her again. And she says, sorry I haven't replied to you. I've just been super busy and just been thinking about stuff. Which means she wasn't super busy. She just wasn't ready to talk. She didn't want to talk. And then he says, can I come over to talk for a bit? And she's like, sorry, it's not a good time. I'm not even home right now anyway. He says, okay, well, maybe we can talk soon, talk later. And she's like, well, you know, I guess later on would be better. Okay, I don't know the difference in the days, how many days passed between this next message, but then he messaged her again. I hope you're doing okay recently with all the stuff that's been happening. And I don't know what it could be. He didn't really elaborate. She didn't reply. Then a few days later, he reaches out again. How have you been? I'd love to talk to you. I've been doing a lot of reflecting and thinking, and I really want to talk. Can we talk this week? And then she didn't reply. Then he sends another long Tetris message here. I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I was. I know I brushed off things that mattered to you, and I know you deserve to be treated better than I treated you. I've been working on things. I'm in therapy. I'm trying to, you know, be better. And I don't expect anything from you, but I would love an opportunity to get in front of you face to face and talk about things. I also want to let you know that I'm really interested in your favorite band and that I even got tickets to go see them. I would love for you to come with me. I would love if you would just give us a chance to go have a good time. I really love that music now, and I could see why you liked it so much. I'm paraphrasing just to not make it more specific. But you get the general idea, because this is generally what happens when you break no contact. She says, I'm glad you're taking the time to make the changes, work on yourself, that you're in therapy. And, I only wish you had done these things when we were together, because that's when it mattered to me so much, and you didn't do the things that I needed back then. And as much as I love seeing that band, you should probably go with somebody who will have a really good time with you. And then he just basically says, thank you. I will respect your space and your decision, and he leaves that alone from there. So that's a lot of what happens in these kind of situations where they're polite, but you could see how many times he reached out, didn't get a reply, reached out, didn't get a reply, reached out, didn't get a reply. And then when she finally replies, it's a polite decline, because she feels like, I can't keep just ignoring this guy. I mean, she could. Some people would. But, there's no attraction happening here. You see what I'm saying? Is like, all of these text messages and the concerts and the fantasy of all these changes I'm going to show you, that's not how it works. You got to leave people alone, focus on your personal growth for yourself, and they come back when they're ready. It hurt, but at least I wasn't begging this time. Well, maybe not in that last message, but there was quite a bit throughout all that text message thread. I want another chance because I believe I can meet her needs now. Honestly, I don't think you can meet her needs right now. Okay? I think you have a lot more anxiety than you realize, and you may be a lot more motivated, but that doesn't mean you have the skills yet. You got to keep working. It's only been a month. People don't magically change in a month. But more importantly, I need to change my patterns. Growing up, my family rarely said I love you or gave compliments. We mostly showed love through our actions. That shaped how I communicated with my ex, and I see how limiting it was. I've been reading about avoidant attachment, and it fits me. And you don't break those patterns and internal traumas that you've had, which led to you becoming avoidant, in a month. It takes a lot of hard work and consistently working at it to break those behaviors and to make those changes. I really argued with her, but only because I avoided conflict. I don't just want to win her back. I want to break those cycles, become more secure, and learn to express love better in every part of my life. Do I even have a chance with her again? Well, it's too soon to say. She's going to be turned off for a while, likely, with all those messages that you sent her, and kind of like all those behaviors are just unattractive. When you're trying to change so much for somebody, it's not authentically you. It's like, I'm trying to get approval. You don't want to be Smithers from The Simpsons, who's always trying to get Mr. Burns' attention. That's not attractive, where you're always kind of like, look at me, will you like me if I do this? That isn't what creates attraction with people. I think the mindset of working on yourself to break these patterns is really why you want to do it. I'm not sure if that's really why you're wanting to do it, and that's okay. Just keep up the hard work and the growth, and leave her alone. You've already reached out many times, and it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, right? I could have told you this is what would have likely happened, or something along these lines, just because that's what happens when you break no contact like this after 30 days. It's just not a way to go to create attraction. Let them reach out to you. It usually takes longer than 30 days. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes exes come back sooner. It just depends upon the person, the situation, what happened. There's a lot of factors. But Usually people need time and space to process it, to be away from it before they really start to miss you, especially when you've done begging and pleading, right? Because that's a turnoff. When people do those things, you're just like, ugh, you feel bad for them, you pity them. It doesn't make you feel equal to them. It doesn't make you feel attraction for them. So it takes more time the more you do things like this. So keep doing the work. Focus on all the changes and growing to heal yourself. Let's see what she does in the future. I don't think she's going to reach out anytime soon because I think she's probably turned off and she would feel guilty and bad. Like, she's not feeling attraction right now. She's feeling like, oh, I really hurt this guy, but it's not going to work out. Now, in time, she could get there again. She could be like, oh, you know what? We did have such great chemistry, and now that I think about it, I do miss him. I wonder if he's dating someone. I wonder if he's moved on. And then she could start to fear losing you and reach out, which is what people do all the time when you display confidence and strength. That's why we suggest not reaching out or chasing an ex. Not ignoring your ex. We don't want you to ignore, okay? We just don't want you to chase them. All right, so if you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You can get my creative healing course and my workbooks only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.